3D printing is actually a bit of a marketing term for what is 14 different technologies. Each technology has something in common though. We produce things additively. So traditional manufacturing is all around starting with a block of material, chipping away until you've got the object you want. With 3D printing, what we're doing is starting with nothing and then building the object up layer by layer by layer. We're producing everything from houses all the way down to rings, diamond rings, platinum rings that fit on people's fingers. So 3D printing has the potential to be scaled up or scaled down to the smallest items. If you're producing lots and lots of the same thing, it still makes sense to use traditional manufacturing. But with that short run, fast turnaround stuff, it doesn't any longer take weeks or months to produce an item. We can produce something in a few hours. And in terms of the waste, with 3D printing, because we're additively building things, there's very little waste compared to traditional manufacturing where up to 95% is actually waste. The current supply chain model is broken in my view. So things are produced in low-cost centres like China and India. They're then shipped halfway around the world. They then sit in a warehouse for however long until a shop orders them. They then sit on the shelf until somebody comes along and buys them. The idea with 3D printing is that the person buy something, they procure something which is specific to their wants, their loves, their likes. We print it there and then deliver it. So in that way, there's no waste, there's no storage costs, there's no transportation costs. So environmentally, it's a lot more efficient. The idea that materialism is dead comes from the fact that in the future, when we can produce anything at any time, anywhere in the world, what has value? My belief is that the value in the future will not come from the actual physical object itself, because we can simply print that. The idea that goes into making that object, the intricacies, the inside, the things that you don't see, is where the true value lies. 3D printing is being applied a lot in the medical industry now. We as humans, we're all different, we're all individual. Different sizes, different likes and dislikes. So with 3D printing, we apply the technology in a number of ways. Right from producing models to help surgeons better plan and a surgery they're going to carry out, all the way down to implantable objects, things like heart valves, things like bone replacement, bone substitution, exoskeletons to support people with cerebral palsy, for example. So the applications of 3D printing, because of its individualized nature, are boundless. Pretty soon going to be at a point where we can start producing human organs based on our DNA. So we'll basically take an extract of our DNA, we'll use bioprinting, which basically creates a scaffold infused with our own human stem cells to create replacement organs. Over the coming years, 3D printing will be seen more and more in high streets as well as in industrial areas. You'll be able to go into a shop, they'll be able to 3D scan you, and depending on what you want, if you want, for example, in-ear headphones, we'll be able to 3D scan the inside of your ear, and then 3D print an earphone, a headphone which fits exactly in your ear, snugly, doesn't fall out when you run. In the same way with clothing, we'll be able to 3D scan your body, and then 3D print you an item of clothing based on your likes and dislikes and choices. The idea that complexity comes for free stems from the fact that a 3D printer just carries out a bunch of instructions that we send to the machine. With 3D printing, we turn the whole idea of value on its head, because it actually costs more to 3D print a brick, because it's fully dense, than it does to produce a Ming vase, which has hollows and intricacies. So in that way, the complexity of a Ming vase is actually free, and in many instances, cheaper. The currency of the future, I believe, are the ideas, the designs, what we as humans produce, rather than the actual physical object itself.